Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a really fascinating look at the architecture of your life. You know, we're constantly taught how to earn money, and we are for sure told exactly how to spend it, but we're rarely ever taught how to systematically structure it. We're going to explore how applying simple corporate-grade structural accounting principles to our personal lives can completely change how we experience our day-to-day reality. Okay, let's dive into this.
There's a profound truth that I think we all intuitively feel, but rarely articulate. Money is rarely just about numbers on a screen or paper in a wallet. For the vast majority of us, money actually lives in our minds as a really heavy emotional weight.
So I want to ask you directly, what is the true cognitive cost of your financial anxiety? Think about the mental bandwidth it takes up. We so often measure the cost of things in dollars, but we very rarely measure the cost of things in the mental space they literally consume.
That cognitive cost manifests as what we can call a background static buzz. It's that constant, low-level, chaotic worry humming right behind your thoughts. You know the feeling, right? Did I pay that bill? Do I have enough for this unplanned expense? Am I seriously still paying $12 a month for a streaming service I haven't watched since 2019? It's this tense, chaotic energy that never fully goes away.
Just picture this vivid scene for a second. A dark wooden table. It's deeply messy, totally covered in a pile of crumpled paper receipts and overlapping, torn-open bank statements. Just visualizing that picture probably makes your heart rate tick up a bit. Much like a cluttered physical desk or a horribly fragmented digital desktop, a disorganized financial life creates immense decision fatigue. It quietly but persistently fractures your daily focus.
And traditional personal finance advice actually traps us in two equally exhausting extremes. On one side, we've got complex micro-budgeting. This is obsessively logging every $3 latte into some color-coded spreadsheet, which completely drains your mental energy. And then on the flip side, we have complete avoidance, just ignoring everything until the end of the month and hoping for the best, which breeds terrible anxiety. Both of these methods just utterly drain you.
And this brilliantly illustrates a concept from classical economics known as the hedonic treadmill. Notice how income and consumption rise sharply, but true life satisfaction, it completely flatlines. Because as your income increases, your expectations and your lifestyle inflate perfectly in tandem, which leaves you no happier than when you started.
Modern consumer culture is explicitly designed to exploit this exact loop. It relies heavily on vivid imagery, glossy retail packaging, perfectly lit expensive items, just to convince you to trade away your focus, your energy, and your future hours to acquire physical objects. But as we all eventually realize, these objects only offer a temporary spike in dopamine. We end up inflating our overhead to match our earnings, trapping ourselves in this permanent, glossy cycle of stress.
But let's just take a breath for a second. True wealth is not calculated by the assets you display. True wealth is calculated by the number of hours you control. An optimized financial system isn't about forced restriction or punishing yourself. No, it's an act of deep mindfulness. It's about building a powerful, defensive moat around your attention span and your time.
So let's look at how this builds into an actual functional system. To step off that treadmill and finally buy back your time, we can use what's called the three-bucket system. We're going to take that massive, chaotic ledger of receipts and bills and collapse it into three elegant, highly automated pathways: the foundation, the engine, and the flow.
Okay, starting with bucket number 1, the foundation. This bucket strictly handles your fixed overhead. The literal moment your paycheck hits your account. Your rent, utilities, insurance, and baseline groceries are automatically routed to a dedicated foundation account where everything is set to auto-pay. And the magic number here is 0. By completely automating this, your human error drops to exactly 0%. The amount of monthly manual tracking you have to do drops to exactly 0%. That static buzz of, did I pay the electricity bill, is completely eliminated.
Next up, we have bucket number 2, the engine. This is your systematic investment path.
The fatal flaw most people make is saving whatever happens to be left over at the end of the month. Instead, this system treats your future self like a totally non-negotiable expense. Picture a quiet, well-oiled machine just humming away in the background. The day you get paid, a set percentage is pulled directly into low-cost index funds or baseline savings. It doesn't need your input or your daily oversight at all. It is just silently compounding your wealth and your future time freedom, literally while you sleep.
And finally, we reach the third bucket, the flow. This is your account for completely guilt-free spending.
Whatever capital is left over after funding your foundation and your engine routes right here. Because you know your foundation is rock solid and your future is funded, you can spend from this bucket with total peace of mind. Just picture this beautiful imagery. Walking into a local bookstore, picking up a premium hardback book, and paying for it completely at ease at the counter. You don't have to pause to check a budgeting app. You don't have to log a receipt. There is zero tracking, zero guilt, and absolutely zero friction.
So, the crucial point is how these three elements lock together. You take dozens of exhausting weekly micro-choices like, should I buy this? Can I afford that? Is the rent paid? And you reduce them into one beautifully balanced macro system running entirely on autopilot. Foundation, engine, and flow, working as a perfectly balanced pyramid.
Now, let's shift our perspective for just a moment. When you study commerce, business, or the broader economy, you study the velocity of money, which is basically how fast capital moves. But when you're building an intentional, meaningful personal life, you have to study the value of time. These are two very, very different metrics, and mixing them up is exactly what causes so much modern anxiety.
To really understand the value of time, we have to look at what's called the unlisted price tag. You see, every single financial commitment you make, every subscription, every financed car, every larger house has an unlisted price tag attached to it. That price is the cognitive presence and mental energy required to maintain it. When you intentionally minimize your lifestyle overhead, you aren't shrinking your life, you are actively expanding your independence.
By minimizing that unlisted price tag, you are literally buying back your time. Picture what that looks like. A slow morning, sunlight coming through the window, a warm cup of coffee, and deep, undisturbed focus. You gain the option to say no to high-stress projects that compromise your peace. You no longer have to run a frantic race just to cover an inflated lifestyle.
Ultimately, true productivity isn't just about how fast you can work or how much data you can cram into your head. It's about how fiercely you protect your peace of mind across every interconnected ecosystem in your life. You have to curate your physical room, you have to organize your digital screens, and as we've seen today, you absolutely must intentionally design your financial structure.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Look at your own ledger, look at your own habits, and ask yourself honestly, are you exchanging your precious mental stillness for mere material validation? Build a system that handles the noise automatically so you can finally focus on what truly matters to you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it gave you some clarity today, and I will see you next time.